The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
I heard over my trip in Eretz Yisrael, I heard an incredible story. A story that goes back maybe about 30 years or so. It's an interesting story, sort of fits into the time that we're in, the sort of Super Bowl time frame. It's an amazing story about a Brisker Bacher. Guy in Brisk is sort of known as sort of the elite top yeshiva, and a Brisker Bacher is going to the Kosel, as very often we do in Eretz Yisrael. You go to the Kosel, you daven, whatever day it might have been. And he noticed a very interesting phenomenon, Rabbi Yisai. Please listen to this incredible story. And he noticed as he's by the Kosel that there's a Gentile fellow. How he knew he was Gentile, I'm not sure. Maybe he had a cross around his neck, maybe whatever. Other very clear markings, but he saw something that he really never sees. And most Jews don't see this. You do see different people coming, you have these tours and these buses, they head off, people from all different, and they talk about here's the Western Wall, and there's this, and there's that. This guy takes a little note, as many Jews do, as you go to the Kosel, which I was just at Baruch Hashem almost every morning, and you look at the Kosel, and certainly you see these thousands of these little notes in the wall. But those are generally put in by Jews who have a personal need, and they are putting a kvittel, they call it, into the wall to pray to God. He's a Gentile guy doing it. Sort of struck this Brisker Bacher as a little bit strange. A Gentile fellow writing something on a piece of paper, folding it up and putting it into the wall. So as the Gentile moved away and went back to his group, this Bacher says, I got to know what's in there. What in the world did this guy write that he put into the wall? I have to find out. I'm not saying he did the right thing, but he goes into the wall. He goes to and he picks the note out. I'm sure he looked at the guy who was already gone. He picked the note out. He opened it up. And the note says, Dear God, I have no way of knowing what happened in the football game. Please, God, send a messenger, send an emissary from God to let me know. In the olden days, news was hard to get. Obviously, you didn't have computers back 30, 35 years ago. And I remember that sometimes sports was like a day and a half late. You waited for the Herald Tribune sometime. You got scores like a day. And maybe, I guess this was a situation. He didn't want to wait a day and a half to find out the score of a football game. He says, God, please send me an emissary to tell me the score of the game. And I will be in this hotel, in this room. Please help me out. This guy was floored. This Brisker Bacher is now thinking, okay, you know what? I'm going to find out. He calls his father. Tati, what happened in the football game? Football game? I send you to Brisk for football games? What are you doing? Okay, get back to learning. Tati, I have to know. What's the score of the football game? Who won the game? So he tells him who won the game. The guy actually goes to the hotel. He goes to his hotel. He knocks on the door. And the Gentile guy says, yes? Yeah. Hello, my name is Chaim. I'm an emissary from God. Whoa. Opens up the door. Says, okay, yes. Well, what he likes is, I just want to let you know that this team won the football game. This was the score. Have a nice day. I am so thankful. I cannot believe you're coming in. You knocked on my door. But don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. He runs to his inside the room, takes a checkbook out, and writes a $2,000 check out. About 35 years ago, it wasn't bad. Writes a $2,000 check out to this young man. Takes the check, comes back to Brisk. Rabbi Yisai, you know about analyzing a piece of Gemara. What do you think the big discussion in Brisk was at that particular moment in time? Can you cash the check? Are you allowed to cash the check? Was the check earned under false pretenses? Are you really the emissary of God? What did he say? Does it make a difference? He would have given it anyway. And there was a big tumult in the base of Medrash. A big tumult, fighting back and forth, arguing, is the money yours? Is the money not? Can you rip the check up? Do you cash the check up? So the Reshiva of that particular Brisk, Rav David Salvation Zatzal, somebody we just recently lost, unfortunately, great loss for Klal Yisrael. For David Salvechik, and Rav Dunner, by the way, is the one who was asked to Shaila ultimately about whether you can I don't know what he answered, whether you can cash a check. And it's through Rav Dunner that the story became circulated. And people are talking about this story. So bottom line is, Rav David Salvechik is in the base Medrash, and he hears this whole tumult. Can you cash a check? Can you not cash a check? And he said, like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? I hear a lot of, it doesn't sound like talk for calling to me. What exactly is, are you guys talking about? He says, Rebbe, you got to hear this. Chaim went to the wall. He saw this guy put a note into the wall. He then opened up the note, read it, and this is what happened. And he went to the guy to tell him the score of the game. The guy gave him $2,000. And this is where we are, and we're clearing, and we're arguing back and forth, and we're doing Drisha v'Chakira. Are you allowed to cash a check or not? I hear. David then stopped for a minute. He says, David Soloveitchik Zatzal said, Rabbi Isai, you missed the whole story. That's the story? That's the culmination of this particular episode to see whether you're allowed to cash the check or not. You're making it into a halachic shaila. You missed the whole story. Rebbe, what do you mean? What do you mean? You don't see what happened here? Rabbi Isai, you had a Gentile who wanted to know what? Did he want the cure for cancer? Did he want some noble goal about something that had to do with his family or his community? He wanted the most mundane issue of wanting to know a football score. But he turned to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and he said, Ribboni Shalom, he wrote his little kvittel and he said, I want to know the score. What did HaKadosh Baruch Hu do? He put into this Brisker Bacher the thought that he's going to open up the note. How many times would we see that and never think to open up that note? And he opened it up. And he called his father. And he schlepped down to the hotel. It's not about the $2,000. It's about the fact that when you turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even on a mundane matter, He's listening. He's there. He responds. That's the message of this story. That's what you should take away from this story. That there is nothing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu won't listen to and hear and respond to. And literally we saw it in front of our eyes.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org